What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to, let's say, episode 2 of the coronavirus vlog. Say that a couple times fast. So, I wanted to go over and kind of update people on where I've been and what's been going on over the last year or so, and kind of give you guys an update because the last video didn't really dive into anything into detail. So we're gonna go with what happened. Basically, I got a letter saying that I had 30 days to move out and I needed to find a place to live. And I decided that trying to stay in New York was too expensive. I felt that if I stayed back in New York and I continued doing what I was doing, there was only so far that I could go. And I feel like I didn't want to work 80 hours a week or 90 hours a week just so that I could pay rent, because rent is really expensive. And having 2 dogs and having all my camera gear and having all my musical stuff and having, you know, all my stuff that I have that to me is worth stuff and to a lot of people is worth stuff, I didn't want a roommate. So I had to find a place where I could live on my own because I don't trust people, because, you know, having an expensive laptop along with my expensive camera gear and along with my musical stuff, I didn't want people to steal it. So I was looking for places where I could live on my own. Finding that in New York is hard, where it's affordable. Finding it in New York where they allow big dogs is even harder. Finding it in New York where they allow 2 big dogs is even harder. Finding it in New York where they allow 2 big dogs and one of them is a pit bull is basically impossible. So through all that, when I was doing my apartment searching, I was looking in New York, I was looking in Connecticut, I was looking in Jersey, and there wasn't very much that I could find that was reasonable, because my biggest fear was that I didn't want to have to be scared of where I lived. I didn't want to have to worry about coming home at night and getting robbed. I didn't want to have to worry about leaving my apartment and coming back and I was robbed. So I wasn't looking in certain areas, and the areas that I was looking in, it was hard to find a place where I could actually live. So the search kind of expanded out. And when I did my road trip back in 2017, one of the places that I fell in love with was Austin. And it's, a lot of people kind of laugh at it and they don't understand it, but anyone that knows me will understand that I fell in love with the food here. I fell in love with the barbecue. I fell in love with the experience. And that was something that I decided that eventually I wanted to move down here. I wanted to live down here. And if not live down here, be able to travel down here often. So there was a while back where I had spoken to my grandmothers and I told them that I didn't want to move because I didn't want to leave them behind, because they were people that I care about. So there were people that I didn't want to leave behind if I moved anywhere. And this was well before all of this a year ago. This is a couple years ago. And my grandmother on my mom's side had said, the furthest you can go is only a plane ride away. So if anything happened, you could always hop on a plane and come back. And she said, it's time that you live your life and not worry about other people. So I took that and I said, you know what? She's right. So something that was taken off the table a long time ago of not moving away from New York suddenly was on the table again. So I decided to look into moving other places. I looked into Las Vegas. I looked into Florida. I looked into South Carolina. I looked into DC. I looked into Maryland area. I looked into Virginia. I looked into Texas. And I did a very cursory look into California, but I've never been, so I didn't want to move and not have any idea what I was getting myself into. The other places I at least have been to, and I knew the area a little bit so that I had an idea of what I could look at. So when I was looking at things, Austin was popping out because I'm a barbecue fan. I love barbecue. I fell in love with it. I absolutely adore it. It's something that I could eat it all the time and not get sick of it. And it's not great for you, but I mean, anyone that knows me knows I don't care about that. So I decided to start really heavily looking into Austin, and I got myself an apartment hunter, and we were looking at places all over Austin. One of the things that I wanted was to be somewhat close to downtown, within, 10, 15 minutes of downtown Austin, because that's where the food scene was. That's where the popular barbecue spots were. That's where the places where I wanted to be were. And I also looked at places that were on public transportation routes, so bus routes, because I only ride a motorcycle. That's my full-time mode of transportation, and when I moved here, a couple days after I moved here, my motorcycle got stolen. So I was left with nothing. One of the things that I wanted to do was that when I found a place to work and that was downtown or that was close to downtown, I wanted a place that it was easily accessible via public transportation, so in case it was a downpour and I couldn't ride the motorcycle, or if something happened, that I still had a way to get to work, because my work ethic is I need to get to work. I have a job to do. I have to do it no matter what. So when I found my apartment, thankfully it was, on a major bus route and right next to a bunch of different routes. So it makes my life very easy depending on where I'm working. Luckily, as soon as I got here, I went in and filled out an application at a barbecue spot, Terry Black's, and I got hired the next day. So I think I was down here for all of like 4 days, and I started work the next week. A week after I moved here, I started working and fell in love with the place. Place has great food. I've been there before. I've brought people there before, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working there, and not being there is kind of sad. That was one of the things that I enjoyed, was waking up to go deal with customers every day. A lot of people look at customers as they're pains in the asses, but working in food for a really long time and interacting with customers for a long time, you kind of learn that if you have a bad customer, or if you have a customer that complains or is a pain, you can just kind of brush it off and move on to the next one, because there's going to be 100 more that are so much better. So that one that complains, thankfully I have decent customer service skills. So if I have one that complains, I'll have 1,000 more that absolutely love what I did for them. And that was something that I enjoyed, and I enjoy interacting. So for me, that was a perfect fit. This whole coronavirus thing kind of put a wrench in that. So we're dealing with that, but that's why you guys get these videos now. So I'm gonna cut that off now, and I don't want this to drag on too long, but tune in next time. It's gonna be episode 3. We'll go into the apartment a little, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. You guys like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I'll see you guys on the other side.